On behalf of the Samurai team at Alan Gray, I'd like to welcome everyone that's joined us today to our online Samurai cooking class. I'm super excited. I'm sure all of you have already expressed that you are as well, for what's in store for us in this session. And I'm super keen to also enjoy some of the interaction that we're going to have a little bit later. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of how the session is going to work, we have two ladies, Janet and Talita. Their faces should be familiar to most of you here, but they will introduce themselves and give a little bit of a background about themselves as well before they show us what they're going to be making today. In Marian's email, she did give you the ingredients for the various things that we're making today. So it's for those of you who are wanting to do it with us, happy for you to go ahead. And while we're in the session, I can please ask you to keep yourself on mute for now. There will be an opportunity for you to interact with both Janet, Talita, and any of the ladies from the Samurai team after each of them have made the different dishes. Okay, so in the interim, if you do come up with a question or you want to share something, I'm happy for you to go ahead and use the chat functionality that you will see in Zoom. And then I will obviously ask the questions, but you will be given an opportunity to also interact with us after each section. Okay, so very importantly, please enjoy yourselves. Enjoy what the ladies have prepared for you today. And to kick us off, Janet, I am going to put you on spotlight view. So just give me a moment before you start. I'll give you a thumbs up when you can begin. Okay, here we go. Janet, you can go ahead. It's all yours.
Hi there, good afternoon, and I'm Janet, and I run the kitchen canteen at Alan Gray. Started the kitchen at Alan Gray at Ranger Bay Court in 2007, and wow, we have really grown from there, washed over to Portswood and now at Silo. But before I continue with my cooking demo, I'm going to tell you about my travels before I came to Alan Gray. In 1990, I traveled to Italy for a year, where I au paired in Rome, and I looked after a newborn baby, and I learned to parlare Italiano, and I also learned all the delicious pastas, homemade pastas and sauces, and all the traditional dishes from the nonna or Italian grannies in my home in Rome. After that, I came back and traveled a bit around South Africa, Cape Town, Joburg, the Eastern Cape, Cape Winelands, and then I was offered an opportunity to go and work in Malaysia. I went to Malaysia and I was there for 2 years, and I was running a South African restaurant in Kuala Lumpur. One of my I was very fortunate to meet a lovely girl by the name of Not, who was from Chiang Mai, and I learned from her the most delicious curries. The flavors up in Chiang Mai are just incredible. So that is why I demonstrate to you one of my big favorite dishes is the it's either vegetarian or vegan. So you will have the recipes that you received from Mariam with all the ingredients. I'm going to go through all the ingredients with you and more sort of key steps. First, just to tell you about your wok. If you don't have a wok, a frying pan is absolutely fine, or a pot. A deep frying pan would have to be your stock and your coconut milk that you're going to add. But when you add your coconut milk into your pot or pan, you need to make sure that it is quite hot, the base. So while I'm talking to you and while we've been waiting for everybody to join, I've had my wok on temperature and I've had water in the bottom of it. So I can see when that water starts to boil that I'm ready for use. So it is ready for use. I'm just going to let that water simmer away a bit because we don't want a watery Chiang Mai noodle soup. So as I was saying, chicken, but we can substitute the chicken stock for a vegetarian stock just by taking the chicken out of the recipe. Yourself, especially if you're entertaining and you're doing it as a starter for Asian meal for your guests.
Janet?
So, yes?
Sorry, so I think your connection may be a little bit bad. Do you mind if you just repeat yourself about the chicken stock, please?
Sure. So the chicken stock is a key element of the dish, and instead of making it with chicken, if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can leave the chicken out. But the important flavors in that chicken stock really enhance your soup for the end, which is spring onion, the ginger, and the garlic. So I made my chicken stock yesterday. I suggest when you are cooking any dish at all, you've got to be completely prepared. Otherwise, you're going to burn something while you're quickly doing something over there. So I've got my chicken stock here, ready to go. And those leftover bits and pieces of the chicken can be used in something else. You can make chicken mayonnaise, so there'll be no wastage. Okay, so my wok is now ready, and I'm going to now start off with the coconut milk. So the coconut milk is the first item that you put into your wok. What's very nice about this dish is you don't use any oil at all. Your coconut milk is the element that gives the base to the dish to seal off the chicken. So this needs to come to a boil. Exotic food one. It comes in a nice size bottle, which is a lovely thing to keep in your fridge. So you can do it at any time, make something interesting. You've got it in your fridge ready to go. So I'm going to let that blend in nicely with the coconut milk, and it gives a beautiful, rich red color from that red curry paste. And at this stage, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric. Turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory and gives a beautiful, rich color for your presentation at the end result, also giving a lovely fragrance. My 3 ingredients there have blended very nicely, and now I'm ready to add my chicken. Remember, if it's not chicken, it could be shiitake mushrooms, any kind of mushroom, or if you're not a mushroom fan, any vegetables of your choice that you really like or that's in your fridge. It's a very quick, easy dish to make, and it can be, substitutions can be made. So while this chicken is sealing off in my pan and infusing those delicious flavors, I'm going to talk to you about the garnishes. So this dish is your broth, which is made from your coconut milk and your chicken stock, your protein element, which could be tofu or chicken, or as we discussed, the vegetables or the mushrooms. And then we have the egg noodle, or can be used a rice noodle to
Janet, I think you cut off again. Can you start where you was talking about the substitutes that you can use after the egg noodle, please?
So the egg noodle is one of the key elements of the dish, and you can use rice noodle if you prefer, if you are vegan. So as I said, we've got the key elements, the egg noodle. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the egg noodle in a dry format. This is a 70-gram egg noodle nest, and can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Sorry, Janet. I think you've got a little bit of a connection issue. It's okay, no problem. You can continue.
2 bowls the same size, and that's how much it rehydrates. So stir this a bit. You see what I mean about doing too many things at once? Our chicken is getting a nice color here, and it's really infused into the curry paste. So now I'm going to add a bit more coconut milk and some of this chicken stock. Verona, how's the sound?
It's sounding good, Janet. Don't worry. I'll stop you if you cut off again, so don't stress.
Okay, so this is going nicely. Picking up all the bits of the curry paste around the pan that has sealed into the chicken. And now I'm going to add some chicken stock to that. It's up to you how soupy you would like it. It is a soup, but some people might just want to make it more like a curry, and then you wouldn't add all your stock. That's up to you. The wonderful thing about this dish, it's all what you want to do. After all, it is your dish. So now I've added the chicken stock and the coconut milk, and I'm going to add the seasonings. So we have fish sauce, soy sauce, salt, and black pepper. So a little bit of black pepper, just to give it an extra bit of spice, and a pinch of salt. And then fish sauce is not vegan. So if you do not want that fish sauce, what you can do is you can just add an extra tablespoon of soy sauce and a little bit of rice wine vinegar to give it that kick that the fish sauce gives. So I'm putting 2 spoons of fish sauce into mine, and then the soy sauce. Now, very important with regards to the soy sauce, I suggest standard soy sauce, or you can use light soy sauce, but do not buy dark soy sauce. Dark soy sauce overpowers the dish and makes it go very dark brown. Believe me, I know. You want this beautiful yellow soupy look that turmeric has given it. Okay, so now I'm going to let this simmer so the chicken can cook through, and then we're going to plate it up. But first, I'm going to go through the garlic.
Janet, I think you're cutting off again.
Where do you need me go back to.
Okay, that's perfect. I can hear you now. You can start with your garnishes.
So, with the garnishes, our first garnish that we're going to put onto the dish when we plate up is bean sprouts. Bean sprouts or mung beans. So they are deliciously crunchy and they add great texture to the dish. The next one is spring onion. And the spring onion, we cut it on the slant to give it that lovely Asian fancy look about it that us chefs how to cut that. And one thing I also recommend is that you put it into iced water and leave it in your fridge for about half an hour, and you will get this beautiful coriander. The fresh coriander is also very important not to chop it up very finely. You just want to chop it roughly. So again, it's a visual, but if you chop this herb too finely, you lose the flavor and the essence of the herb is lost. Okay, then we've got red chili and fresh lime. Now we squeeze the fresh lime juice into the dish just before we serve. Very important, use limes. Lemons, just don't do it. A lime is something that you need in your Asian kitchen. Always use lime. Okay, guys, so looks like we're ready here. I'm happy with the texture. And the chicken has definitely now cooked through. So, without further ado, I'm going to plate up. So, I'm now going to give you that little demo on how to cut your spring onion. Here is my spring onion, and I'm going to use the whole thing. This part here is especially the part that gives you that lovely Asian look about it. So you're going to hold it and hold your knife as long as you can on that onion and then cut it, as we say, on the slant. And you have a nice long piece of spring onion instead of a tiny little circle if you would cut it up in your usual way. And there you go, spring onion cut on the slant. Okay, so my next, the plating. So I'm going to start off with my noodle. And you just take a little bit in your tongue.
Janet, I think you're cutting off again.
So we've got our egg noodle that we have put in the bottom of our dish. And now we're going to add the chicken or the protein element of our broth. So I'm putting, if you're dishing up for about 4 people, it is suggested that you put your anybody if they get less than the next person. This is what us chefs do when we're plating up our meal. Next, I'm going to add our delicious broth. Beautiful in winter. This is such a warming broth and very, very tasty. Okay, so now we're going to go.
Janet, can you just repeat what you've said about the lime, please? I can't hear you.
Firstly, I'm going to squeeze my fresh lime into that sauce, and that gives it a beautiful freshness, and you really do taste it in the dish. There we go. And now I'm going to go with my bean sprouts. I'm going to take a good
Janet, we're losing you a little bit. Can you just repeat what you've said about the bean sprouts and how you've placed them into the bowl, please?
Okay, so next we have our bean sprouts. Lovely crunchy element, and we're going to put a good handful on top of your chicken to give you a bit of height for when you're plating everything else to have a lovely visual. Next, we have the fresh coriander. The fresh coriander, we're just going to put on top of the bean sprouts, giving it beautiful color. And my beautiful Asian looking spring onion bits, I'm going to just plop those around the side, because that spring onion really does infuse and enhance flavor in that broth. And then last but not least, I have my red delicious.
Thank you, Janet. That looks really good. All right, awesome. Thanks, Janet. That is fantastic. Thank you everyone for bearing with the connection issues. I know that some of us have been jumping in and out of the room, but it's not a problem at all. I was able to get Janet to repeat some of the steps. So thank you, Janet, for accommodating me. All right, so what I'd like to do now, and I'm happy for everyone to also share their feedback in the chat. I can see a few of you are saying it looks amazing, it looks very yummy, and it looks scrumptious. So it definitely has that visual appeal. I'm sure, Janet, it must taste amazing. Can see the satisfaction on your face as well, so that's really awesome. Janet, I've got a few questions for you, just in terms of the way you've put the meal together, and sort of some of the replacements as well. So one of the first questions that I have here, in terms of making the stock, and if people buy the chicken stock instead of making it from scratch, where in the cooking process can they add the ginger, garlic, and black pepper? Is it the same way that you added it in after you put in the chicken broth?
Well, the ginger actually doesn't feature in this recipe at all. It only features in the chicken stock. So what you could do if you decide to buy your chicken stock is you can cheat a little bit and make your chicken stock from buying it and put it into a pot, and then take a piece of ginger and just crush it slightly. Don't peel it, just crush it slightly, and put a little square, maybe a centimeter or 2 centimeter square, into the stock with a spring onion, one of the long spring onion that I had, you can just tie it in a knot and put it into that stock with a clove of garlic that you have peeled, and crush it and put that in, and just infuse that into the stock for about 15 minutes, and that will enhance the flavor of the stock. So you can always take a shortcut.
Okay, fantastic. That's great. In terms of the noodles, right? So you mentioned that you used egg noodles. So if we replace it with rice noodle, I know that it may be a little bit thicker. So is there a specific way that you should prepare the rice noodle, the same way that you did with the egg noodle?
The rice noodle you also rehydrate, and you would also do it the same way. Just boil your kettle, put the noodle into a bowl that's going to be big enough to take the volume of it when it rehydrates. And it's important with both the egg noodle and the rice noodle to actually separate it by hand with a fork or with your fingers, because they do stick together and become quite glutinous, especially the rice noodle. And try and get the sort of wider, flatter rice noodle, not that vermicelli, because that's very thin and doesn't really capture the liquid and the flavors like the flatter noodle would.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's actually a really great tip when we're making noodles in general. A lot of us are potentially trying it for the first time. So it's actually good to hear in terms of like the stickiness and how wide the noodle is. So that's really great. Thank you for that, Janet. And then just a last question from my side. You mentioned about the curry paste. So the curry paste that you've used is the red one. Is it fine for people to use green curry paste as an example if they don't prefer? Like I'm assuming maybe the flavor might be different. What are your thoughts?
It is different. It's very different. The green curry paste, I'm sure you all are aware of a Thai green chicken curry or Thai green curry. And it does give quite a different flavor. So, you know, as I said, it is your dish and you can use whatever you like, but you won't get that traditional flavor with the green curry paste. You do also find, not very often, but you do find a yellow curry paste. Either the yellow or the red can be used for this dish, but I personally wouldn't use green because it just doesn't give it the key elements that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And color changes completely.
Yes, of course, yes. It's going to turn into a very different color. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to open up maybe for a minute or two if anyone has any other questions, or if you just want to share feedback on Janet's little demonstration that she's done for us. Thank you for those that have been using the chat. Anyone want to share anything before I continue? Yes, Mariam.
I think the food looked amazing. Yeah, you know me so well. I think the food looked amazing. It's really delicious. I'm hungry now, and you've made me excited to sort of try. I think the great tip that you gave about the noodles helps me, because I think that's where I sort of struggle with Asian dishes, because I'm treating it like pasta. So I'm boiling it in a pot, and then when I'm adding it to my meal, it's a whole other story of what it ends up looking like. So thank you for the rehydrate tip. It really helps me.
Tony, do you have anything you'd like to share? I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah. Well, I in fact missed the rehydrate part. Sorry. Are you able to repeat that if you don't mind?
Yes,
please.
of course.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Let's see. So this is a 70-gram egg noodle nest, which you rehydrate using boiling water. So you just boil your kettle, but then you need to use a bowl that's going to be big enough for your noodle nest to expand properly. And preferably a bowl that can take heat, not a plastic bowl that won't handle the heat. So I've got 2 bowls here exactly the same, and this that I've got all the noodles sticking out was that same noodle nest that I've got in here. So it gives you an idea how much that is going to expand and the reason why you would need definitely a bigger bowl. And it will take about 20 minutes from kettle boiled water. And after about 5 minutes, you can take a fork and put it in and swirl it around to separate those noodles. And even I use my fingers because you get 2 pieces of noodle that, like this one, that are stuck together, and then you separate them because otherwise you have a big gluey mess of all these noodles stuck together.
Okay.
And with the rice noodle, it is quite similar as well. They do stick together. So I recommend you do that. And also what I did to try and avoid a big mess here is I took a scissors and I even cut the noodles up a little bit so they weren't flowing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Another great tip, Janet. I love that. I've never tried like egg or rice noodle myself, so I'm super excited to actually try using that rehydrate method, because I think when we think of anything that looks like pasta, we have to boil it in a pot.
Yes.
So it's really great that you've shared that tip to get that very authentic sort of taste and touch and feel with regards to the noodle. So thank you so much for that. Okay, I think that's it from everyone. Janet, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate what you've done and how you've demonstrated. And working through the connection issues, you still did a fantastic job. I'm so excited to go and try it out myself. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have joined us, there is going to be a competition in terms of the actual plating of your Chiang Mai chicken noodle soup. So I'm super excited to share that detail with you later. So thank you, Janet. I'm now going to, is there anything else that you'd like to share before I hand over to Talita?
I want to reiterate that, you know, I find it very therapeutic cooking, even though it's my profession, and I love it. I cook almost every day here during lockdown, and it's just experimenting, you know, if you just enjoy it. Bon appetit.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Janet. Appreciate your all the tips that you've provided and you know, just making it exciting to cook for people. So that's really great. I'm going to hand over to Talita now. So guys, just bear with me while I switch in terms of spotlight view. All right, so Talita, just give me one moment while I move you into spotlight video.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Take it away.
Ready.
It's over to you.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Talita. I'm the front of house and beverage manager of the canteen. Beverages is my life. My husband and I love making homemade beer, kombucha, cordials. We did infusions. It's just part of our passion. We've actually also made craft beer from 2013 to 2017, competed in a few competitions, won a few. So, you know, beverages is our life. So what I'm going to demonstrate to you guys today is a immune boosting wellness shot, as well as a frothy matcha latte. Okay, so I'm going to start with the immune boosting shot. Over here, I've got my ingredients. I've got 1 green apple. I've got half a lemon, and then a 2 centimeter piece of ginger root, because fresh is best. Okay, so now I'm just going to go around and switch on my juicer. If you don't have a juicer, don't worry. I'm going to show you another way to make it as well. So all you need to do is obviously feed the apple through the chute. Okay. Of course, your juicer is very convenient because you can just put it through. You don't need to peel it or pour it. It's very easy. Apples, of course, is full of vitamin C, potassium, and antioxidants. And as they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay. Almost there. I also prefer using green apples to red apples, as the red apples tend to get very mushy. There we go. Next, I will be adding the lemon. As you can see, I don't even have to peel it. I just push it through. Lemons, of course, is very good for your skin. It's got a healthy dose of vitamin C, and it is a natural, it's got antibacterial properties. It helps fight infection. And then lastly, your ginger root. That's obviously nature's medicine. Let me just push that through. Also a natural anti-inflammatory, and it helps fight infection. Okay, so here we go. There's some compost. Magic. There we go. Cheers. Okay, and that is very sour with the lemon. If you do not have a juicer, you can do it the old traditional way with a grater and a piece of cheesecloth. If you don't have cheesecloth, you can use pantyhose. Just make sure that it's clean. Okay. So what I've done here is I've taken the apple and the ginger, and I've grated it already in a bowl so that it catches up all the juices. I'm now going to squeeze it through and just squeeze it into the glass. And you can make juices like, you can make juice of any fruit the same way. Obviously some you will get more juice than others, okay? So there we go, I've got my apple and my ginger. And next I will be adding the lemon. Here's a tip for you to get the most out of your lemon. Take your lemon and just roll it between the palm of your hand and the counter to release all the juices before slicing it and squeezing it into your juice. Okay, I've already taken a shot, so I've got my quota for the day. Okay, moving on, I will be making a frothy matcha latte. Okay, so here is the matcha powder that I bought. I bought this from our local health shop in Paarl. You can also buy the same brand from the Wellness Warehouse, or you can buy it online. It is soaring-free, protein plants, organic matcha. Okay, so what you need to use for your matcha latte is a coffee press or a coffee plunger. If you don't have a coffee plunger, you can use a glass jar with a lid that obviously it's tight, so you can shake it to get the same milk consistency. Okay, so I'm going to just move behind the counter while I'm doing this. And I'm just going to start by plunging up and down. So I've already filled my container with the desired amount of milk. Please be careful not to overfill it, as you plunge, the milk will double in volume as we plunge. Okay, so while I'm doing this, let me tell you a little bit about matcha. Matcha has been around since the 1400s. It's actually been brought from China to Japan through one of the monks who believes in its healing benefits. Okay, matcha is also considered one of the best superfoods as it helps brain function. It detoxifies your liver. It's full of antioxidants, so it's a natural good hot beverage for you, an alternative to coffee. I will just advise you to start off with half a teaspoon, and it is quite high in caffeine, until, well, you can add or you can use less depending on how you like your matcha. Okay, I'm just punching it. Here we go. All right, so the milk is done. I'm just going to give it a tap on the counter and just give it a nice swirl just to release some of the bigger air bubbles. All right, and now I'm going to show you how to make a traditional 3-layer latte. So first of all, you're going to start with your milk and you're going to pour it in your latte mug like that. Okay, and then you're going to use your matcha. I've already mixed my matcha. I used half a teaspoon to half a cup of boiling water. And using a teaspoon, I'm just slowly going to pour the matcha. Okay, and as you pour, you will see the 3 layers forming. And again, I want to caution you that don't drink matcha after 2 o'clock because it is quite potent and it will keep you awake at night. Okay. Let me just bring it to the front. Here we go. Don't know if you can see the 3 different layers. All right. So as they say in Japanese, kekuni, which means to your good health. Cheers.
Amazing. Thank
That's
you,
it.
Talita. Wow. Cheers to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the demonstration.
You're welcome.
I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
So, guys, I will open up the questions to Talita or any comments that you have after I've asked some questions. So, on my end, I just want to ask you about the health shot.
Yes.
So, I see that you use quite a bit of lemon. So, when you put it into the juicer, you use the lemon. And then when you made it the other way, if someone doesn't have a juicer, you had, obviously, you squeeze the lemon in. So,
Yeah.
it may be quite strong for some people. I saw that when you took it, can be quite potent. So
Yes.
for those people whose glands aren't really great with sour things or bitter things, is there something that we could sweeten the shot with, or is that not advised? What are your thoughts?
Well, okay, so the good thing about citrus is, most of the citrus fruits have the same type of benefits. So if you don't like the sourness of a lemon, you can use oranges, or you can use ruby grapefruit. Otherwise, what you can do is you can add a little bit of honey, which is very good for you, especially when you have a cold or a sore throat. The lemon will just help clear up the bacteria, and the honey will smooth your throat. So, I mean, that's one way that you can combat the sourness.
Okay, fantastic. Mariam wants to know if you're feeling healthier after you took the shot.
Well, I take it every day, so yes. And
wow.
I really get sick, so yes,
Wow.
I do feel healthier. Thank you.
That's amazing. Mariam, do you want to add anything?
No, that's admirable. I'd love to be able to take that every day.
Yeah.
I can try.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky to have the juicer because you saw it was quite quick and easy. You just chop it up, just make sure that it fits through the chutes, and it's quite easy. It takes me not even 3 minutes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great to hear that you are using it, having it every day. For those health fanatics that are out there,
Yes.
in terms of anything else that you could recommend to add to the shot, so you've put in very specific ingredients. Is there something that we can add to add a twist, or maybe add something a little bit different? Is there anything that you can recommend in terms of any more health benefits around certain ingredients?
Sure. So one of the things that you can add definitely is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is very good for you. It's good for your sinuses. It's full of vitamins as well. It helps with weight loss. If you can believe that. And then there's turmeric root as well. Turmeric, like Janet said in her presentation, is a natural anti-inflammatory. So it's so much better to take the healthier alternative instead of using ibuprofen or something that will, eventually burn a hole through your stomach. So it's always good to use natural. You can also add garlic, which helps fight against, colds and flus. So you can add what I wouldn't say anything you want to, but you can add a few things to give it a twist, to change it up. Just read up on the benefits.
Okay, fantastic. I like your suggestions. I mean, during the winter time, it's always important to know what's going to work well for your body.
Yes.
And some of the suggestions you've also given is stuff that we do use to make other food. So I think that's really great in terms of it being fresh and available. So thank you for sharing about the shot. I just want to talk a little bit about the matcha. So for those of you who don't know, matcha is not familiar to everybody, but I think it's quite interesting around some of the background that you gave about the matcha. So you mentioned that matcha is quite strong in terms of the caffeine in it. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if I have to look at that, if you're tasting the matcha, you've tasted the matcha now, can you add anything to sweeten it? What sort of flavor does it have, or do you need to add anything to it to change the flavor?
Yes, okay. So matcha is a green tea. It's organic green tea. Okay. The process that they use is obviously a little bit different to your typical green tea leaf. Okay. So they make it a powder. It's more concentrated, and therefore it's higher in caffeine. But it's also very good for you. You don't always have to drink it. You can add it to things like energy balls. You can add it to baking, although the temperature might change the composition of the powder. But if you make like a handful energy roll with oats and some chocolate chips, and you add a teaspoon of matcha balls and a good nut butter, not really store-bought, then you get your matcha and you get all those benefits and properties in without having to drink it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of green tea, but with the matcha, I'd like to introduce it. I can even introduce it into a smoothie or add it to the shot that I made.
Okay,
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
I love the other examples, because I think people assume matcha is just any type of green tea is just tea, but it just needs to be obviously consumed in that one way. So thank you for sharing where else we can also to use it. I want to open up the questions to anyone. Talita, would you like to add anything before I continue?
I just want to say, sorry, I think I was maybe a bit nervous, but I want to tell you that the monk who introduced matcha to the world and to Japan also discovered kombucha, which is also very beneficial and very healthy, probiotic, so I just wanted to say Monk Elsai introduced us to matcha and kombucha.
Fantastic. Thank you for letting us know. I think it's really interesting to give the history about it.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions or any feedback? I see a few people said, thank you so much. It's been a great experience from the both ladies. And your tips and sort of giving a little bit more info about, the ingredients that you're adding and how it can benefit to your body and your mind and your health actually makes a huge difference. Whenever we eat, we just eat for the sake of, getting rid of hunger. But it's also really important to know what the various ingredients together can actually do for your body. So thank you so much for that. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to add before I continue and wrap up? Okay, so thank you everyone for all your feedback and for the questions. Mariam, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I just want to thank the ladies for being so open to this. I love learning little tips and to make cooking a little bit more interesting. So thank you so much for that. And thank you everybody for joining. And I really hope that this has inspired you a little bit in the kitchen. I know during lockdown, we've sort of been forced to retreat into our kitchens, but I hope that this makes it a little bit more exciting.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mariam. Just before I continue, I'm just going to switch my view. Okay, awesome. So thank you everyone for joining. I really appreciate all the attendance. We had quite a few people jumping in and out of the room. So we had about 16 to 17 people. So thank you to everyone that has joined. And lastly, just to wrap up, I would like to remind everyone about the competition that we're also running in terms of this cooking class. So there is an opportunity opportunity for you to enter the competition. The details are in the invite that I provided, but I'm going to repeat myself again. So basically, you'd be able to submit a picture or even a video if you're feeling that inspired around the Chiang Mai chicken noodle soup that Janet worked on, and being able to plate it. And the 5 most delicious looking and creative looking entries that we get from everyone will have an opportunity to actually win a 250 Rand Takealot voucher that Alan Gray has so kindly been able to make available. So please put your entries through if you can. Mariam, maybe we can send us a reminder a bit later today. The deadline is 5 p.m. on Monday, so you have the weekend as a great opportunity to go and explore your cooking skills, okay? And then you can submit your entries through to me via email, or for those of you who don't prefer email, you can chat to me and we can exchange over WhatsApp. So all the entries, including the winners, will be pasted onto pasted, I'm thinking of curry paste, my apologies, posted onto, I'm so Indian, guys, you have no idea. I got so excited when I saw the curry paste being added, so my mother would be very proud. In terms of posting those entries, it will go onto our service quality SharePoint page, so please be on the lookout for that. And then lastly, the video of the ladies' demonstrations and the cooking and the various different meals that we've made today, and the drinks and the shots will be posted onto that page as well with a link. So please do, if you want to go and check it out again, happy for you to go and do that. It will be available as soon as the session is done. So I'm going to start putting that up on the SharePoint page. Mariam, is there anything that you'd like to add to wrap us up?
No, nothing, my side. Thank you so much, guys. I want you to enjoy the rest of the week and happy cooking.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Enjoy. Please take care. If you've got questions, shout to any of the ladies. And look out for more events from the Samurai team. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.